tee it up. Like I get a text, like an hour ago? Like we
Yeah.
do podcasts every week. We meet up, we talk about life, we talk about our health, talk about family, and then we usually kind of get into the podcast. Whereas Travis does a brunt of the work as far as teeing up subject matters and stuff like that. That dads and parents, it's not conducive to their growth, but I think it would help them, right? Kind of like our insight. So I got a text about an hour ago. I was in the middle of teaching class, and all it says was, what did it say, Travis?
All I said was, get ready. It's a new segment time on the
Uh-oh.
podcast today, ladies and
Okay.
gentlemen. And the segment is called It'll Change Your Life.
It'll change your life.
Now, the fun thing about these segments is we like to keep it, broad. You know, what does that mean to you? I don't know. We're going to find out.
We're going to find out.
But I will start by leading the conversation. Okay. We're going to dive into this, and that'll help roll. It's going to help your brain kind of ruminate on some ideas. Okay.
Gotcha.
So segment, it'll change your life. Okay.
Kids. Sorry. That was
if you guys,
I know. Sorry. It's like,
I told you.
What's that game called? Like the game where you say a word and then I'm supposed to say the first thing that pops in my mind. That's what I thought this was. Okay, go.
Yes, the 5-second thing, or what is it? But anyways, here's mine. I told Rob, everybody. I told him. I said it can be as profound or as ridiculous as you want. And generally speaking, I think most of my responses are going to be ridiculous.
Mine are definitely not profound. I'm in the same boat as Travis.
So number one. Okay. Microwaves. Everybody, a lot of people have microwaves. If you have not gone and turned the beep off of your microwave, it'll change your life. Okay. Microwaves.
Keep going, but I got something to backpack on that. But keep going. Microwaves and the beep. Yes, turn it off.
The beeps are so loud, and this new one that we got a little while ago, it's crazy. Yeah. So I was like, this is not helpful, especially when I'm trying to do something when the kids are sleeping. It's like, come on.
Goodness.
And every once in a while we realized, even in our, newly wired kitchen,
beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. When I plug in the vacuum into the outlet right nearby there, it can't handle it. So we tripped the breaker, and so I had to go back out there again because it's happened once or twice or three times. And I went and flipped it back on, and boom, the beeps are back. So I'm like, I got to turn those off. So that's what got me thinking about what changes your life. And it's just, microwave should not beep. It takes a little while to get used to. Granted, if you guys haven't done this yet, just trust me, it's going to be better. But
especially if you have littles at home and there's nap times, any kind of noise or disturbance is well worth your time to figure out how to turn it off. It really is, right? Because we all know once that nap's cut short, they're not going back, right? Like it's the end of the nap and grumps, and it's just turned. But so to add on that, turn the alarm off on your dryer, right? The one that goes when it's done. You figured that out. Huge difference. And you have
the burnt one.
I know when the dryer's done. I know when the microwave's done. I don't need an alarm to tell me my food is done because I'm probably standing right there by the microwave. And when
that's what I was going to say.
There's no urgency. I don't need to fold right when it beeps, right? We're going to get to it. Right?
Time is not a factor with those two things, right? Okay, oven, you're setting it and you forget it. I get it. 45 minutes later, you're coming to it. But if you're microwaving something, I mean, anybody who doesn't use the add 30-second button, that's pretty much all you're doing ever. I just go 30, 30, 30,
I don't think I've pushed any other button on the microwave.
Yeah, I saw a meme about this a while ago, and it made me laugh. They were like, the new microwave, and it's just the add 30-second button. That's it.
They should. I don't know. I don't know anyone who uses any other function. Do you use any other function on the microwave?
Nope. The only thing I will say I do sometimes is my morning scone that is always there for me. The ode to scone is coming. I'm going to write an ode to it.
There you go.
My Trader Joe's vanilla scone has to go for 16 seconds. That is the premier.
That's the sweet spot.
The sweet spot. Yep. And so a lot of times I've been pressing the add 30 and I forget about it. And then I have like a lava kind of crusty
lava
ruined
cake version
Yeah. And then
This,
it's ruined. Like the
yeah,
outsides get all hard. And
yeah.
so every once in a while, I'll type in that
I
1-6.
wonder if
But
you
it's
could do.
weird. It
I
feels
wonder if they
weird.
could do presets like the radio stations in your car. I wish there would be
Ooh,
like
yeah, just like
one.
3 buttons. That's like
Yeah,
boink.
just presets, 16 seconds. That's something I eat every morning, right? Like we gotta. If you're a microwave manufacturer out there, think about it.
take
Presets.
take heed of this
Yeah,
advice. Okay.
that's.
Yeah, so that's number one. I wrote
Mhm.
down a few because you were like, hey, yeah, I'll think up a list, and I was like, actually, you know what, I probably can think of some other ones.
Yeah,
And
we've
so
definitely got some.
you want another
Um,
one from me, or you got one?
um, actually, give me another one, and I'm gonna put these
Okay.
in groups.
Okay, it'll change your life. I never thought about doing this until a buddy told me to give it a try, but I was
Mhm.
updating my resume a while back
Okay.
when I was considering not being a full-time dad. Psh, silly,
Oh, yeah.
silly. Anyways, I needed to upgrade it, and I'm not a good with words. Let's just put
Mhm.
it that way. You know, I'm not eloquent enough to be spitting out the BS that's required to be put on a resume. I can't stand updating resumes. If you can't tell, it's ridiculous. Anyways, I hate making things sound fancier than they are. Like,
Mm.
let's just put it how it is. But anyways, Chat GPT
Oh yeah.
resume, use Chat GPT to spice up that resume. All you got to do is copy and paste that puppy onto there and be like, make it better. Or like, if you're like, oh, I need to add this little section of experience. Like, so, I worked at this gym, or I own this gym. And then I, like helped people learn stuff, and I made their lives better. And then you just say, make that sound
Make
better. And
better,
it goes, blah, 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 and it's like
man.
all the fancy stuff.
I we should do a whole segment on ChatGPT because I
Oh,
use
yeah.
it for a lot of things: travel, packing, questions, especially if I'm visiting a new location. Like, hey, what are the 5 best coffee shops in town? Done.
Yeah.
Right? There's, I think I've used ChatGPT more in the last year for creating the courses, the dads group stuff that we're going to release module wise. I'm just like, you know, one of the things that I did was, and this might be a little too down the rabbit hole, so pay attention or pause or fast forward. But when creating kind of like who I want to help most, right? It's kind of like me, but like 5 years ago or 10 years ago, but like exact same thing, right? Dad of multiple kids, trying to manage it all, want to take care of myself, still has a side hustle that I want to turn into more than a hobby. And so when creating that, one of the things I did was like I went in the trenches, like, okay, what did I like, right? What did I spend my time on? What is literally created what they call
Mm-hmm.
in the industry an avatar. And then I'd be
Yeah.
like, okay, what would be a cool, you know, a cohort topic for this group of people? And then ChatGPT does the magic. I'm like, oh, that's actually pretty spot on. So
Yep.
yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
I'm gonna add that to our list of topics of
There you go.
things to chat about.
Yeah,
We're
like
gonna riff on.
software tech that helps dads, right? Or parenting. I think that'd be a cool
Yes.
topic. So
Yes.
one of the things that changed my life is having, I know it sounds very basic, but stick with me here. Is having something to look forward to every day. And I know that's very vague. It's like, obviously I do. I'm a parent. No, but what I mean is the small kind of hobby-esque, I'll get straight to the point, is I love my coffee time. Right? I
Yes.
love making my coffee. It's
Oh,
one of
man.
the big transition times in the day, right? So as long as I get that time, the hours after that seem to be a lot better. Not only because I'm caffeinated, but because it's all almost like a ritual, right? A ritual for me to start the day. So I remember a time where I didn't have this ritual and it felt like I was just putting out dumpster fires, right? But now that I have a ritual, it's like, okay, my mind, my body knows, like, okay, it's game on. Like, I'm ready for my day. You did something for yourself, right? That was good, that you enjoy. That might be like your Rubik's Cube, right? Something that you love. And then the rest of the day is good. Whereas the days that I didn't have that, of course, love being a parent, being a service, all that stuff. But there's always that itch that didn't get scratched, right? So
Yeah.
for me, having that, for me, it's coffee. For someone else, it might be that morning walk, right? Or exercise, but have something that is yours, right? Not necessarily ours, but like that's yours. Other people can participate, but it's something that you know that as long as you do it, the rest of the day is gravy. no matter how hard the day is, you're good because you've been taking care of yourself, that one thing. So that's as soon as I started implementing that, changed the whole outlook on life. The rest of the day is opportunity, not have tos. Right.
So it sounds like you're specifically talking about things potentially that start your day rather
Yeah,
than something. I mean, something to look forward to is also good, right? You could set yourself a little reward for later.
exactly.
But we're talking about here that it's going to change your life. The the morning the
Yes.
morning thing, whatever
Yeah.
your you thing is.
And literally half my list has to do with morning. Go figure. Right. But like having time for yourself in the morning is really important. So that kind of goes with the coffee thing. But that changed my life because if not, I remember times, being a new parent where it's just like the wheels are coming off. Like every day seemed like Groundhog Day. And it seemed like a majority of the day was spent taking care of a new baby, taking care of spouse, trying to get work done. And I never felt fulfilled. Like for me, like I never took care of me, but I never defined what that would look like. It wasn't until like the morning routines and getting into the hobby of coffee or stuff
Mhm.
like that, that I started to fill that cup up. Right. That's
Yeah.
the coffee pun. But once I had that cup filled, then all the other stuff, and it's the same stuff. It just changes, right? But it's the same stuff. It was less like burdensome, right? I didn't feel like obligated, right? It was like, no, I get to do this now that like I'm full. I get to take care of this. So,
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. That is a great one.
mhm.
And I would say, yeah, we're on the same we're in the same boat. We're in the same coffee cup
Yeah,
when it comes to coffee in the morning. So along with my scone, we can't
yeah.
forget about the
And if you
scone.
listen to a
For
previous
me, it's the
podcast,
scone.
we talked about coffee. So we talked about cups. So
Yep.
look back,
Yep.
comment what we talked about. Be interesting if you guys heard about that.
Yeah.
But
Scope it out.
yeah, mornings, but like looking forward to evenings too. Like, and this goes more towards relationship, but this will change your life because before, when I was like business first, family second ish,
Hmm.
there were weeks, maybe months that it felt like two ships in the night, right? Because
Yeah.
mom took care of
Hmm.
kids, I was working, stuff like that. And you would read about it or you hear about it, or maybe close friends would say, like, hey, you guys need to set up a date night like once a month or once a week. And that was close to impossible. Like it was really scraping the bottom of the barrel to get that. But once I transitioned more from working from home, more putting family first, we do daily check-ins. So there's no big urgency to be like, oh, we need to get away from the kids. We love our kids. We don't need to get away from them. We just need some time to ourselves. So for us, it's that hour or two after bedtime. That's another thing that we look forward to. And it's not do more work, which it used to be for me, right? It's not, I'm just going to Netflix on my reading lounger downstairs and my spouse is upstairs doing something. No, that's our time, right? So being able to have that be our time doing stuff together, and it doesn't need to be like super intense. Like literally, I could be reading a book, laying in bed, and she could be reading a book, laying in bed, and that's still us together doing something similar. So
Yeah.
that's been a game changer because then I don't have that voice in the back of my head. It's like, hey, this leash is getting really long, right? It's like, when's the last time you connected or touched base? But the fact that we have that every day means we don't need that, right? We don't need this big, grand kind of escape. We have time to check in. Plus, if anything, relationship wise or family or life decisions, it's easier to scratch an itch when it's small versus when it's a volcano, right? So,
Yep, yep. We
so,
talked about a little bit about this in previous episodes as well. The
mhm,
communication piece is key.
yes.
It'll
And
change your
so
life
it'll
for sure.
literally change your life. Start talking. It'll change your life.
Look at you. Look at you, Mr. Profound. See? I told you. I
That's
knew
not
it.
profound. I
I
read
knew
it
it.
off the fortune cookie from my Panda Express right here.
Well, here's your next it'll change your life. If
Shoot.
you have an iPhone
Hmm.
and you are trying to go back on your text messages or whatever you're typing, and you're like, I can't, why won't it go to the middle of the word right where I spelt that wrong? You hold the space bar down
Okay.
and then it bloop gives you your
Oh, no
cursor and
way.
you move. You didn't know this?
I did not. It'll change my life.
Oh boy.
I did
No,
not know that.
seriously, this is gonna change your life. Okay. Do you have another phone? You have your phone.
Trying
You
it
don't
right
even.
now.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So just type a bunch of letters
Okay.
and then hold the space bar and you'll see the line. And then you move your thumb around
It did it. Oh
and
my
it's
goodness.
precise. It puts you
That is.
exactly where you need to be. Can you show us? Can you
I was
show
gonna.
us what's happening?
I was gonna show you guys, but I have sushi roll up. So Let me try to let me try this. Test. And then let's do a bunch of letters. Okay. See, if you're on camera, you'll see it. If you're
Yeah,
not on camera, you won't.
you're
That's
just
fine.
gonna have to imagine
So
it or
let's see.
try it for yourself.
Let me see if can. I don't know if my camera will focus. Okay, there you go.
There it is.
And
So
then
you
space
hold
bar
down the
push.
space bar,
Look at that.
and then you're
That's
moving
super accurate.
wherever. Perfectly precise.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So
That's crazy.
you're
That
welcome.
that's I'm we could stop the podcast now. That was my takeaway for today. That's
Yeah.
the win.
Yeah. We called this a segment, but I think this actually is just going to be the podcast this
I
week.
think we're just going to talk about
it'll change your life. That's what it's
things that
called.
changed your life. Exactly. That's a good episode. Actually, it's a really good episode.
I was going to say something along the lines of like, well, have a kid. It'll change your life.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Kids will change your life.
True.
Moving away from your hometown, huh?
Ooh,
That'll change your life, right? That'll
That's
definitely change your life.
that's big.
What else will change your life? You've got some great tech ones, man. I wish I did all the like parenting and lifestyle stuff. Like cold showers. I know it'll change your life. I know it sounds funny, but being a parent means you're going to be stressed, means you're going to have anxiety. But it's good to have anxiety, right? Because you're worried about your kid's future, you're worried about your marriage, stuff like that. Those are things you're supposed to worry about. But when you worry about them nonstop, that's when it becomes an issue. So the great thing about the cold showering is it's a great way of kind of snapping you out of that loop, and it's great for calming down. So for me, like I don't think I've gone a day probably in a couple of years where I haven't taken either a cold bath or a cold shower. Yeah.
Oh
And
man.
it's made huge difference. Like literally, a lot of people ask, right? Either in the DMs or I get emails like, this is kind of a synopsis of my life right now, and there's a lot of things on fire. What do I do? Right? Like what can I do? Like my health is not where I want it. You know, my stress is not where I want it. I notice I'm being, all that kind of stuff. I was just like, slow down and take a cold shower. Like that's it. Like, what do you mean slow down? I mean, literally slow down. Like, once you get to the end of the race, then what?
Yeah.
Right. So slow down. And whatever that means for you, it could be going outside for a walk every day after dinner with your family, right? Just 10-minute walk around the park. It could be breaking up your days so that you have some space during the day versus I know for me, I'd work 8 hours straight, not even bat an eye, like didn't even know it was 8 hours. Other times it could be having a hobby like coffee or tea or going to a group class or hanging out with a buddy. Have a buddy that you meet up with once a week, right? Same lunchtime, same day, something to look forward to. But that's what I mean about slowing down because the work's always going to be there, right? But if you don't slow down, your kids are only going to be 3 once, right? They're only going to have a 8th grade graduation once. And those are opportunities for you as a parent to show up, right? And so we can get caught up with, but I need to do more. I need to provide more. And those opportunities will always be there. You could always get more work. You can get another job, but you can't get that time back. So that's why when I get clients or people ask me like, man, it's just, I feel like the sky's falling. Like take a moment, take a cold shower. It's not falling, right? You're just trying to control too much of it. So learning what's really, I think at the essence of it, it'll change your life if you prioritize your life. Like what's important to you and your spouse and your family and live your days like that. That'll change your life versus before it's like, get up, go to work, right? Come home, spend time with the kids, clean up, check the news, go to bed, rinse, repeat. At least that's what it was for like my parents or my grandparents, right?
Yeah. It's kind of like a zombie level.
It is
like you're just kind of
going
moving without being intentional.
Yeah. So setting a priority for your day, setting priority for your family helps you keep the North Star north, right? While you're when your head's kind of in the ground. So for me, that'll change your life. Taking a cold shower can zap you out of any moment. It can calm you down. A lot of people don't think that, but it actually calms you down, calms your nervous system down. So if you're running hot, right, and you don't know you're running hot, take a cold shower. If you react pretty vigorously, you're running hot, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're running hot.
Oh man, I was surprised. I did cold showers for quite a while. I've been out of the loop lately, I gotta admit. But the like as soon as you turn it off and you like, rub your head with the towel, it's like, oh,
Oh,
like I can, oh wow.
oh, yeah.
But you're alert, you're like fully
Yes.
present, but
Yes.
you're just like, oh,
It's like
like
everything got put
relief.
on pause, right? Like you felt what pause feels like, the word pause. Like that's what that feeling is. It's you actually pushing pause on stuff. So
Yep. Oh, these are good. It'll change your life is
it
right
would.
now.
Um, let's see. I got another one. Like I said, most of these are like lifestyle stuff. But if you haven't yet, do blood work. I know it sounds funny, like, yeah, go to your primary care provider. And then eventually, as we get older as parents, we don't go as often because nothing is quote unquote wrong. But, right, think of it like a hand me down car that your grandpa gave your dad and then your dad gives to you. The car on the outside, definitely taken care of, bondoed, repainted, everything's working great. But the engine's got some miles on it, and the things connected to the engine also have some miles on it. So by checking under the hood every once in a while, you can either catch things before they become more of an issue, like as in the car's not running very well, or you might realize there's real simple upgrades that you can do, but if you never checked, you didn't know, right?
Yep.
So for me, it's a priority, not only for our family, but for clients and stuff like that that don't do it at least once a year. I'd say if you haven't done it for a while, probably once every 3 months or 6 months, and it doesn't cost an arm and a leg. Depending on your insurance, you can even go out of pocket, and we're talking like $40, $50, and you can get a good panel and get things done just so that you know how you're feeling is matching what's under the hood, right? And so if you can tie that and you can connect that, then you know the changes you're making are actually making a change under the hood as well, right? So be it exercise, sleep, whatever you want to do. But I can't tell you how many times for me personally, like, man, I'm not feeling the best, and it's been a couple weeks or a couple months, and then you check under the hood, you're like, oh, I've been depleted there. Like, wow, my adrenal glands are taxed. Just what produces adrenaline because we're running so hot, right? Those are things that have been on overdrive for so long, not working so hot, right? They need a break. Or you might notice cortisol. Cortisol is a stress hormone and it helps us wake up, calm down. But too much or too little, right? Like mine was super low. I was like, man,
Mm.
maybe that's why I'm not feeling like I want to work out. Like, why don't I feel like I want to work out? I took a pre-workout and I still don't feel like I want to work out. By the way, full disclosure, pre-workout for me is coffee. But I drink like right, I had like a double shot of espresso. I should be good to go, but I couldn't fall asleep. Like those are all signs and symptoms that we got to check under the hood. So one of the things that I always tell people is like, hey, if you haven't done it, go to your primary care. If you have insurance, awesome. They give you one a year for free anyway. Well, not for free, but as part of your program. So get it done. Like, why not? Right? Like you would do it to your car, right? You check, you make sure that thing's running well. So anything that you use often, aka your body, check every once in a while. So that changed my life, and it did so just because it brought awareness. Not that I'm hyper focused on that, but it's
Yeah.
just a tool, right? It's just like a cold shower. It's just another tool.
Yep. Yep. That's good. So if somebody goes and gets their blood work done, you're
Mhm.
talking about there's all the stuff that you find out
Mhm.
when it's there. Obviously,
Mhm.
Google's your friend and all that jazz, but and your doctor can tell you things as a follow
Yeah,
up. But
and
most
not
of the
only
time,
that,
let's be real, we're not gonna do the follow up. Like it's enough of a thing to go get blood work done. You're like, wow, I just did a thing. That's
yeah,
crazy.
I just
But
checked the box.
what should people be looking for? What have you found are some of those things? You mentioned
So
cortisol. You mentioned
yeah,
uh
so well, those are like big kind of hormone things. And the
yeah.
first thing you would do is like look at cholesterol level, right? Look at your blood sugar or what they call blood glucose level as far as like type 1, type 2 diabetes. Things that just basically the system's been running hot for a while and it might start breaking down. Might be mineral, right? We've all heard of like macronutrients. It's a term for protein, carbs, and fats, basically. But there's also micronutrients, right? All the small things that helps the system go, like magnesium, right? And calcium.
Iron.
Yeah, stuff like that. You
Yeah.
may not know you're deficient. Like we eat the best we can, but our food's not quite what it was a couple decades ago or a century ago.
Yeah.
So making sure that we're getting what our body needs just to run properly, you'll notice that when you get just your normal blood panel. And if you go to a doctor and just kind of explain what you want to look at, right? You can look at your LDL and HDLs. That's basically like how well your body's dealing with inflammation, right? Because inflammation is kind of like, for me, inflammation is the big elephant in the room. That's what's going to cause a lot of the cascading effects in your body is how well your body deals with inflammation and how much chronic or consistent inflammation your body's under. So people usually feel this through like, GI or gut issues, maybe chronic skin issues. Those are forms of inflammation,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
finding the root of what that is, man, energy, sleep gets better, performance gets like it all gets better. And all it was is, oh, I just need to take a little bit less of this and a little bit more of that. Yeah. Right. So
I never thought about that until Deb started looking into that
mhm.
like a year or two ago and was trying to do some research on it. Because essentially it's like you get the check engine light on your car
Mhm.
and like you're like, oh, but that can mean a million different things, right? So you could
Exactly.
sit and take the entire car apart and be like, well, I tried everything. I did all of these things and
Yeah.
nothing worked. So I might just forget it. I'm just gonna get rid of the car. But all you have to do is go get that diagnostic test and it's going to be like boop, code this one. Well, this sensor is, you need a
Exactly.
new O2 sensor.
And not
Oh,
only that,
that was
there's
it.
yeah, and
Okay.
there's so many third party like softwares that you could upload your blood panel and it tells you recommendations. Right? Like, oh,
Ooh.
eat more fish, or do that, or do this, or take this supplement. Like it does it all for you. Nowadays, like it's no longer like you need to stop smoking, exercise, and eat well. Like that was like how it was for our grandparents, right? The big three. But now you can get into the minutia, and AI and software does that for you. You literally just put in your numbers and it says, okay, average for your height, weight, and age should be this. We recommend doing this, this, and this. Okay, great. That's what I'll take.
AI is pretty crazy, man. We're definitely gonna have to talk about
We
ChatGPT
will.
more. We
We
gotta,
definitely will.
because man, there's so many things you can utilize it for that I've never thought of until now. It's like, wow, this is really helpful. I
I
get how, there's all there's like a whole many sides, many facets
Oh my goodness.
to
The big thing
AI,
that
but
changed my life, I know we got to do an AI or a chat GPT, but one of the things that really changed my life using chat GPT, because I use it for business and I use it just for day-to-day organizing, is actually giving the AI a persona, right? So like we're traveling over the summer, right? We're going to go out of state. And I'd said like, hey, chat GPT, your name is so and so. You are an expert travel guide for this area. You were born and raised here. You have a family of four, right? I do the whole thing, right? The whole thing. And then what happens is now that I gave ChatGPT a persona, it answers my question based on that persona versus just saying like, "Hey, I'm going to go to San Francisco for the week. What are three things I should do with a family of five?" It'll give you something, but if you give it the
yeah.
persona, it's like, "Hey, you've been the lead travel agent in San Francisco 5 years running. You specialize in families with little kids under the age of 8, and you know about nutrition as far as gluten intolerances. We're looking for 3 restaurants in downtown San Francisco." Like knowing that,
Yeah.
golden, right? So that's changed my life. Giving
Dang.
ChatGPT a description, a job.
See, and I didn't even know that part. Like,
Yeah.
there's just so many different things I would have never thought of. Like the other day, I was talking with a mentor of mine, and he was like, I was doing a Bible study, and he was like, like you can ask these leading questions, kind of dive in deeper, yada yada. And he was like, what I've done here and there. I mean, again, with balance, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But like, he was talking about like in that passage or whatever. He's, it's like, you, do you know what it would have been like in prison way back when?
Mhm.
No. Well, just ask ChatGPT. Say like, okay, what was it like AD 60 in a prison in Rome? Blah blah
Mhm.
blah blah blah. Like, what would my treatment have been or whatever?
What would
I
a
was like,
day be like?
what? But it's like pulling from the whole internet. So
It is.
it's
It
just,
literally, it's like the ultimate filter, right?
yeah,
It's a
yeah,
smart filter. Basically,
yep,
that's what it is. It's a smart filter.
yeah,
Yeah, man.
crazy,
Yeah,
crazy.
we have to do a whole other episode on that. But yes.
Yeah. So, hey, just a heads up, my phone just might die on me. I didn't
Okay.
realize how low it was.
No
So,
worries.
I hope it hangs in there. But we're nearing the end,
Yeah.
anyways,
Yeah,
for an
exactly.
episode. The
Mhm.
segment became the subject,
Exactly.
and here we are.
And
Um,
we're gonna probably riff off a couple more, but
yeah,
when you're listening to this, if you're a parent, if you're a dad, and you have something that you've done, right? It doesn't matter how minute or how grand. Let us know. Drop it in the comments. We want to know because
yes,
we're trying to build this community, right, of like-minded individuals. So there's definitely things that you're doing at home that are like huge wins that we're not doing at home, right? And so the more that we can pull together all of our resources, the better we're going to be as a community, right? The more advanced we'll be as a community. So let us know in the comments, like what's one or two things that you like, that microwave beep, the laundry dryer beep. What are one or two things that made a huge impact as far as just like the day to day, right? Like just lowering my stress, or what we call ambient stress. Like, man, always worried about that laundry thing going off during nap time. Now, not worried, right? So let us know.
Yep. Yep.
So
So,
what else?
you
What
have
else
any
you got,
more
Travis?
lightning round?
Yeah, go for it.
If you have young kids, get a trampoline. It'll change your life. Okay.
That is awesome.
If you are looking up at the sky and you always wonder what that helicopter is that's going overhead, get this app called Flight Radar, and it straight up
I know that
tells
app.
you
I know
what
that
it
app.
is. I didn't even think that was going to be
I think they have a
exciting at
desktop
all.
version too, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. My buddy showed me and I was like, oh, okay, whatever. If you're a dad, okay, guys, just get it. Just try it. Like, no joke. Just point it at the helicopter. It'll tell you which one it is. It'll show you a picture and it'll show you where it's been and where it's going.
Exactly.
What? Oh, kind of crazy. So that'll change your life. Yeah. What else?
What else? Learn how to cook. So as a dad, learning how to cook changed my life. One of two things. A, the more you do wrong cooking, the faster you'll do right. But if you're not cooking enough, you'll never know. So I always tell people it's a science before it's an art, right? You see all these like amazing chefs, like my wife doesn't measure. This is what a pinch of salt looks like. For me,
Yeah.
I need a spoon, a cup, half a tablespoon. I need all that. Doing
Uh-huh.
that
Oh, I
long
hear you.
enough, right? Doing that long enough, now you can kind of wing it a little bit. You can kind of shoot from the hip.
Throw stuff together.
But why did it change my life? One, you start understanding. I know, again, more lifestyle stuff. When you cook at home, you cook from like Whole Foods, farmers market. You support your local rancher and stuff like that. Food tastes really different than processed food does, right? But we don't know that if we were raised on. I was raised on Twinkies and cupcakes, right? It's like I don't know what real food tastes like. It wasn't until I was older.
Yeah.
So knowing what it really tastes like, one, knowing what it feels like to eat real food is a different thing. Like my energy level is like sustainable throughout the day. It's not dropping or dipping. And then two, my kids, they start to help out with cooking and talk about skills to develop before you go off to college or before you're on your own, right? You don't want to be that pop ramen kid freshman year all the time. So the skills that we're developing are the skills that I want to pass down to my kids. So might as well start learning for myself. And so now, like, we look forward to cooking every night, and it doesn't take 4 hours anymore, right? The cleanup and stuff like that. You learn how to manage it. So changed my life cooking. And then when I go out and eat, I'm like, oh, this is good. I know this is good. I know this is good because I've tried cooking this and mine's not this good. Right.
Yeah.
So,
real food. It'll change your life.
It will. Eat an apple. Literally an apple a day.
Yep. Take time to fail. It'll change your life. Whoa. That one's kind of deep. You touched on something big there,
Yeah. Take time to fail and fail quick.
Yeah, we don't do that very often. I realized the other day I got a new tool and I didn't want to use it. I was like, I don't know how. I'm not good at it. Yeah. But like until you start, I haven't started the cooking thing, so I got to take your advice on that one.
If you think of anyone we look up to, right, being a woodworker, a chef, or even your buddies who may look on the outside like they have it all together, you didn't see all the failures. They started from 0 to, right? Like they failed. They got the tool and failed a bunch of time before they got good. So if you're a parent at home looking to get into something, or if you would just want to expand what you're doing, like fall forward. That's what they say, right?
There you go.
Just keep falling forward. Keep doing it. Not only that, teach your kids to fail, that it's okay to fail, right? And that's how you get better. Like nobody hits home runs first time at bat. Like nobody, right? So yeah, fail often, fail quick. That way you can make changes and adapt.
There you go.
Okay,
well,
boss.
I think that was fantastic, and I'm still here. I haven't lost you yet. So
no, great segment, by the way.
Yeah. How many times is that going to happen? Segment to subject. Here we go.
Exactly. 35-minute segment. That's awesome.
Well, everybody, as you may or may not know, we are not professionals.
No, we're not gurus. We're just
dads in real life.
Real life. There you go. We're getting it. We'll get there.